Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Dharma with Streaming for tonight. So last week, we talked about the Eightfold Path, the ethical conduct, which involve or include the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. So I'm going to briefly go through again this right or ethical conducts. So these ethical conducts are built on the concept of universal love and compassion for all beings. As the Buddha says that it is for the good of many, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world. And it is important is that in practicing this ethical conduct, one has to perfect in two qualities that he has to develop. They are the qualities of the compassion in one side and the wisdom on the other side. So these compassions represent love, charity, kindness, tolerance, and noble qualities on the emotional side. All the qualities of the heart. And the wisdom should stand for the intellectual sides of the quality of the mind. And if one only developed the emotional and neglect the intellectual, one may become a good-hearted fool. And if a person only develop the intellectual and neglect the emotional, this person will turn into a hard-hearted person, have no feeling with other people. So it is important that when we practice Buddhism, we have to have compassion and wisdom together. They cannot be separate out. And this ethical conduct include the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. The right speech is wholesome verbal karma. And it is to refrain from dishonest speech, harsh speech, from careless speech, arrogant, scolding, insulting, mean, flattering, and untrue words. And we should have the right speech on the words of truth, the words of compassion, the words of praise, and last, the words that bring help and benefit to others. The next is the right action. Right action is the behavior that is right and in accord to the truth. And it is the body karma. And the self and passive part, it is the action, wholesome action on not killing, not stealing, and not engaging in sexual misconduct. This is the passive way. And in the active way is the right action into protect lives, be compassionate, and give charity, involved in charity. So we have to, in a way, in our action, we have to discipline ourselves to make us have a peaceful and healthy life and efficiency in our work. And if we are able to discipline ourselves, we are also able to involve in the action on protecting others, compassionate to others, and also giving charity, helping other people. The next is right livelihood. Right livelihood refers to the right occupation and right ways to make a living. It means that when we look for a job, we look for a job whereby we won't harm other people and won't harm ourselves. Or we don't look for a job that only benefit ourselves and bring harm to other people. So no harming in our career. And today we are going to continue with the mental discipline. This mental discipline is something that related to how we discipline our mind, how we train our mind. In the Eightfold Path, we start with the wisdom, how we see the truth, how we understand the truth, and then how we think about what we understand and what we see. Then we make a judgment in what we intend to do. When we make a judgment on what we intend to do, then what we intend to say, intend to act, and what we intend to find a job. And how do we have this mind to able to observe what is right understanding, right view, in order to have a right thought and right intention? Then to all have the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. So in this mental discipline, it included 3 paths: the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So we start with the right effort. Right effort is also known as the right diligence, right skillful means, and caring for the Dharma. It means that we should move into the direction of truth with courage and diligence. The sutra says, if lay people are lazy, they lost the chance of benefit in the world. If monastic are lazy, they lost the Dharma gem. The Dharma gem means Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. According to the Sutra of Mindfulness on the Right Dharma, it gives rise to all afflictions and suffering in the world. Means that laziness is the root of all unwholesome ways. It is the seed of the cycle of birth and death. And also it is the root of all affliction and suffering in this world. So if we wish to break the circle of birth and death, we should be diligent and abandon laziness. Laziness is something that in all of us, we give a lot of excuse to not work hard, such as weather, such as my health, such as I'm tired. We give a lot of excuse to ourselves. It's not because of the weather. It's not because of our health. It's not because of tired. It's because of we are lazy. We don't want to move. And if a person that works in the society that has this habit of laziness, then these persons will not be able to have a chance or benefit in this world. He or she that will not have a good career or good life because they're lazy. They refuse to work. And if a monastic are lazy, they will not be able to understand the Dharma and liberate out from the circle of birth and death. Because laziness is the root of unwholesome ways. And it is also the seed that leads us to rebirth again and again in the circle of birth and death. And also to bring us suffering in this world. So we should think about it. If we want to liberate out from suffering, then we have to make a decision. Do we want to work hard to liberate out from suffering? Diligence is not disorderly and does not retreat. It strives to do good and strives to not harm. So diligence doesn't mean that, oh, we have to go to retreat. We have to follow this strictly. But what is the purpose of going to retreat and follow the guidelines strictly? What is the purpose? Actually, the purpose is to strive to do good things and not to conduct into any harm. The thesis on the perfection of great wisdom says that we should take the four right effort as the goal in our cultivation of diligence. So these four efforts are to prevent unwholesome status that have not yet arises. Means that we find ways to present any unwholesome thoughts that have not arises, has not comes up. So this is a discipline to our way of thinking. When we have not have this unwholesome thought, don't let it arise. The next, to end unwholesome status that have risen, which means that if there's any unwholesome thoughts that comes out, action that comes out, we have to immediately find ways to stop it. When it arises, when we already did something, tell ourselves, don't do it again. If there's any unwholesome thinking comes out, tell ourselves, don't think about it. Don't think. Third, to develop wholesome status that have not yet arises. Any wholesome thinking or action that we have not cultivate it. Try to build good habits. Try to build good habits, such as if we do not have the habit of helping people, then we try to build out this habit of helping people. If I do not have this habit of giving encouragement to people, then build this habit of giving other people encouragement. If we do not have this habit of positive thinking, then we need to encourage us to build positive thinking. And last, to strengthen wholesome status that have arisen. So if we already have this mind of compassion, try to flourish it. Try to accumulate it. Try to bring out more compassion. If we have the heart of helping people, help people more. Bring more happiness to other people. So this is very important because we have to find more wholesome things in us in order to reduce the unwholesome things in us. And when we build out more wholesome things in us, we realize that the suffering will reduce. And how do we do it? Diligence. Strive to do good and not to harm other people. And this is the right effort. The next is the right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is also known as right contemplation. It means to have a mind that is pure, aware, and does not give rise to unwholesome thoughts. It is contemplating the right path. The Sutra of Teachings by the Buddha says, if we build a strong foundation of mindfulness, although we are surrounded by the teeth of the five desires, we will not be harmed. It's just like wearing armor into a battle and fear nothing. This is why Buddhist practitioners should not pay attention to gossip, desire, gain or loss, winning or losing, money or fame, and should always maintain right mindfulness. In here, right mindfulness is to contemplate, focus in the mind, in our mind of pure awareness, and try to focus that not to have our unwholesome thoughts to arise. We are living in an environment with a lot of challenges. The challenges from the external factors and the challenges from our internal self. Our internal self involves the three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. So if we are able to mindful, contemplate into ourselves and have the awareness to immediately see that our unwholesome thoughts arises, then we are able to immediately bring out the right understanding and view. After that, we'll have this right thoughts and intention. So this mindfulness, right mindfulness, is just like a protection to us, an armor to us. When we have all these challenges come to us, the first is to focus our mind, not to have this challenge defeat us first. Uphold a pure mind, a simple mind, and look at this situation, this challenging situation, not to be influenced by the negative energy from this challenging situation, such as the gossip, the desire, the gain or loss, winning or losing, money or fame, and to focus on the right understanding and view. So in here, there are 4 applications of right mindfulness. First, contemplate the impurities of the body. Attachment and delusion arises because most of us are too attached to the body, our body, especially to the beauty and health. We are too attached to it. We do not want to see we get old, we get sick, our body change, white hair coming out. We do not have strength in our daily life. But when we look deeper into our body, any good things that we eat in, any drinks that we drink in, when we release out the urine or the pass out things, it's smelly. It's not a pleasant thing. It's the waste that produce out. So, if we don't produce out all this waste, then we will definitely get sick, right? So we have to produce it out, but it's not a pleasant thing that comes out. So the Buddha taught us to contemplate the impurity of our body, to eliminate our attachment to this body. When we can learn to use this body for the sake of cultivation, to attain the Dharma body. This this Dharma body means that it's the body that ties with the Dharma, and this Dharma is the reality of life. And what is this reality? Impermanence, non-self, and nirvana. That is the Dharma body. Second, it's the suffering of feelings. Both the mundane feeling of pain and happiness are the results in suffering. Life is full of many kinds of suffering, which we already discussed about that, such as the birth, aging, sickness, and death. These are the reality. We have to face it. But even when we have a happy feeling, because all things are impermanent, the happiness feeling will eventually come to an end. Therefore, we should realize that feelings, if we attach to this feeling, happy or pain or suffering, all feelings, if we too attach to it, it will lead us to suffering. Third, contemplate the impermanence of the mind. Our thoughts are changing every minute and every second. Suddenly, they are in heaven, then they are in hell. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. Sometimes they arise, sometimes they drop. For this reason, the Buddha says that we should contemplate the impermanence of our mind. Our mind changes very fast. When the person praises us, immediately we get very happy. But suddenly the boss comes in and then shout at us. Immediately, the fear, the unhappiness arises. Sometimes, when we wake up, we feel so happy. But when we go to work, we are not happy. We get stressed out. Sometimes when we wake up, we feel depressed. But when we go out to walk under the sun, we get released out. So our mind, our thoughts keep changing and very fast in changing. We can be in this moment in the heaven, and in the next moment we are in the hell. So, who does we belong to? To the mind? To ourselves? To this body? Who? So the Buddha says to us, contemplate the impermanence of the mind. When we are not happy, it will change. Everything will change, including our mind. Whether it's a good one or the bad one, it will change. The last, contemplate the non-self of phenomenal. The Diamond Sutra says, all conditions phenomenal are like dream, illusions, bubbles, or shadow, like dew and lightning. One should contemplate them in this way. All phenomena in the world will eventually decay and extinguish. Nothing in this world has a substantial existence that is completely separate from anything else. If we know how to contemplate the fact that all phenomena have no substantial existence, non-self, we can find our true nature. Our true nature, and also stop the 5 desire of wealth, sex, fame, food, and sleep. So in here, when we say phenomenal, means that in this world, in our world, we have human beings, animal beings, and all kinds of beings here. We have tables and chairs. We have river, we have sea, we have mountains, we have trees, we have flowers. Everything that we see, we feel, we smell, we eat, anything in this world does not have a self, because it's the combination of a lot of things in order to create this thing. It's the combination. It caused by cause from a lot of things. So what is self? Self means that it comes from its own substantial existence. But nothing in this world comes up by only himself or itself. And when we have this combination of everything and create something, these things has to have the truth of non-self, because it will decay and extinguish. If there is a self, this thing will not decay and extinguish. And if we contemplate on non-self, we know that it will change. It will definitely change. Then, why do we attach to it? We should cherish it, but not attach to it. And from there, we found our true nature. And because everything changed, the things that we desire about, such as wealth, such as relationship, fame, food, and sleep, that we so desire, they are also non-self. If we so attach to it, it will not bring us liberation. It will only bring us more suffering, more unhappiness. So in mindfulness is to contemplate on the impermanence, suffering, and non-self. We should not attach to anything in this world. We should be cherishing things in this world and live our life in a more happier way. And the last one in the Eightfold Path is the right concentration. So right concentration means right meditative concentration, and using samadhi, a deep focus, to focus the mind and settle this distracted body so that we can better cultivate ourselves. True samadhi is not merely a matter of sitting in meditation. It is also developing and exploring our internal capacity. We always say that in meditation we have a monkey mind, jumping here and there. In right concentration, it is the time that we focus our mind and not to be distracted by our body and also our own disturbed thoughts. This is a deep focus. And the true concentration or samadhi is not only sitting there doing meditation. What is the point of doing meditation? Just sitting there? This is not what the Buddha taught. The Buddha taught us to, by seeding and focusing our mind, we have to develop and explore our internal capacity. Right meditative concentration should bring us good health. It should help us focus on single mindfulness and attain peace. It should clarify the mind and lead us from ignorance to the state of awakening. Ultimately, cultivate right meditative concentration will reveal our Buddha nature to us and allow us to discover our true self. And this is the ultimation of practicing, to discover our true Buddha nature. In order to discover our own Buddha nature, we have to develop and explore our self, our internal self. We need to see through our internal self. We need to discover our 3 poison, our 5 desire. We need to look into it. If we don't see the problem, we won't know how to resolve the problem. So, this concentration is something that when we do meditation, we really have to know what is the objective of meditation. When we start with meditation, of course, we need to practice how to sit in a proper way, how to calm our body, how to calm our mind, how to clear our mind, how to reach to that moment of peace. But this is not the end. This is not the objective. The objective is to explore ourselves. How to explore ourselves? We have to use the Dharma to explore ourselves. What Dharma? The 4 Noble Truths. We have to explore into what type of suffering that all of us has. And all of us experience this suffering, unable to escape out. We have to explore it. We cannot run away from it. We cannot deny it and avoid it. The more we deny, the more we avoid, the more suffering we have, because we have the fear. And we have to explore what caused us to have this suffering. Why we feel pain, why we feel angry, why we have this anxiety, why we have fear, why we are not happy in our life, why this suffering caused me to be unhappy, why do I have depression, stress? We have to contemplate in it what caused us. And then we have to contemplate is that, can we stop it? Or can we reduce it? Is it possible? Is there any possible for us to reduce the unhappiness, reduce the suffering? If the Buddha say yes, then how do we do? What should I do in order to reduce the suffering? And that is the Noble Eightfold Path. So right concentration is very important. It's anything that we face, whether from external or internal, immediately we focus our mind. We focus our mind and not being affected by the external factor or internal emotional reaction. Then we move to right mindfulness. Right mindfulness means what? To think about the impurity of body, suffering, impermanence, and non-self. mindful of this. And then we move to right understanding or view. Yeah, the truth is our body is changing, getting older and older. Everything is impermanence, bring us suffering. Then, what am I supposed to do next? Right thoughts, right intention. So when we face with any challenge or anything comes to us, stop. Don't react first. Whether it's good things or bad things, don't be too happy. Don't be too angry. Don't be too unhappy. Just stop for a while and concentrate. What makes me so happy? Why do I feel so happy? Because of a word. And my desire into the praising words. So, and that time is the time of mindfulness. Be mindful. Even a good words comes to us, a praise comes to us, it's impermanence as well. Then why do I need to be so happy? Yeah, I say thank you for the praising, but I do not need to attach to the happiness, to the praising. So this is something that when we practice the Eightfold Path, it is our mind keep running back and front in this Eightfold Path. Sometimes it has sequence, sometimes it don't, but it is always in a more or less simultaneously together. And this is something needs to be practiced. Need time to practice, especially the practice in our mind. Because our body action, our speech, our livelihood basically come from what we think. And this thinking habit, whether it's right or unwholesome, it depends on how we cultivate. So the Dharma is not a theory. And we cannot understand it solely from a philosophical point of view. It is not something philosophical. It is not something for research. It is not something to study like a course. It is a practice. It is the life, especially the Eightfold Path. It gives us the guidance in our life. We need to practice it every day, every moment, every second, regardless whether we are a Buddhist or not. And when we face with challenge, if we have this belief in the Eightfold Path, we are able to transcend this challenge. Because we have the right view, we have the right understanding, we know the truth. And when our every thought is in accordance with the Dharma, the truth, this is the right thoughts. When we speak with kind and compassionate words, give others joy, hope, and confidence, this is the right speech. When our actions are in accordance with reality, when we do not harm other people just to satisfy our desire, when we actively helping other people and assisting other people, and we practice giving, we strive to do good deeds and prevent evil. These are the action, livelihood. And if we are able to practice our mind, and by this practice, we build up wisdom to solve our problem in any kind of situation. This is the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path in our daily life. And this Noble Eightfold Path basically are able to help us, guide us to reduce our suffering when we are facing the challenge of the reality or the truth in this phenomenal world and our life. So how do we reach to the shore of nirvana? Practice the Noble Eightfold Path. By practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, upholding this idea, this concept of this Eightfold Path, we are able to lead a more happy life and peaceful life. So today, we already finished the introduction of the Eightfold Path. And again, it depends on whether you want to use it or you do not want to use it. In Buddhism, the Buddha says that you are the master of yourself. You make the decision in your life. He only shows us the path. He can't walk the path for us. If we want to go to hell, that's our choice. If we want to go to the heaven, it's our choice. If we want to be liberated out from the circle of birth and death, it's also our choice. So you have the key, you have the boat, you have the plane. Now, do you want to start the engine or open the door? And next week, we are going to introduce the 3 Dharma cells. And these 3 Dharma cells are very important. By understanding these 3 Dharma cells, it will let us make a wise decision in our life. So we end this class today, and I will see you next week. We start to discuss the 3 Dharma cells. Thank you very much. 阿弥陀佛。